Drug or alcohol problem, call Narconon today at 1-800-468-6933 or visit us at www.stopaddiction.com. This is Detroit's Progressive Talk, 1310 WDTW, Dearborn, Detroit. Listen 24 hours a day on iHeartRadio.
Yeah. I find mine.
The comments, ideas, and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the show participants only. Nothing stated in this program reflects the ideas, opinions, or beliefs of this radio station and or channel radio.
Stay tuned for the Medical Marijuana Radio Show, brought to you by the American Medical Marijuana Professionals on Gratiot and Roseville. For certifications, call 1-877-RX-42099. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. Hey, Steve Greene here to tell you about my good friends over at the Hydro Hut Garden Supply Store in Inkster. Why am I so excited about Hydro Hut? The $200 Mad Light deal. That's right. $200 gets you a 1,000-watt high-pressure sodium bulb, an E-wing reflector, and a digital ballast. That's right, a digital one. Call them today at 313-228-5544. It's Hydro Hut. It's 20% off on your first purchase, but you got to mention the Medical Marijuana Radio Show to get it. Check them out at hydrohutonline.com. That's Hydrohut at hydrohutonline.com.
Countdown to launch. It's the Medical Marijuana
Launch commit.
Radio Show.
Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Power cleared. We got a roll program.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show is a production of the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855-MMM Radio.
Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855-MMM Radio.
Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
Okay, Steve is the host with the co-host Denise. Starting at noon Saturdays every week. Yes, we keeping you legal. Legislators and lawyers, doctors and the growers. The show is for the people. Michigan Medical Marijuana, no hassle. We talk about anything, any issue we can handle. Call us up and let us know what is on your mind. And make sure when you do it legal every time. You tune in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855-MMM Radio.
Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855-MMM Radio.
Keep it legal.
Welcome to another Medical Marijuana Radio Show for June. I keep saying July. It's not July yet. It's June 23rd, 2012. I'm Steve Greene, patient and caregiver. Once again, back in the studio, Denise Policella. Hey, little applause for Denise. We got Rick Thompson in the studio. Ryan's here ready for doing the radio news. Denise. Nope, I got to turn your mics on. I'm sorry. I always forget the microphone.
Okay. Yeah, why do I get applause?
What's up with the... Oh, yeah, whoa. Yeah, no, this has got to go on. Yeah, come on. Jeez. All right, I'm turning the mics off. Yeah. It probably is that mic. Denise, you're going to have to point your mic away from that headphone set up there. I'll tell you what's going on here. Let me just give the audience a sneak peek as to what's happening. When we got to the studio this morning, I was missing one little tiny metal piece. It's the part that connects the iPhone to the studio soundboard. And without that piece, the only way they can hear us on the internet today, at least if they're watching live, is if we've got the headphones up by the iPhone. So everything that we say in the studio can be heard. So are these going to work? See if
try the mics. One.
There we go. Okay, that's better.
So we can't swear at each other between breaks?
Well, if you do, it's going out on the internet.
That'll get us extra hits.
Yeah, I got to. So if I just curve this down a little bit, there we go. At least we're not getting feedback.
I'll whisper.
No, don't whisper. It'll make it worse.
Really?
I think it will.
All right.
So anyway, welcome to the program. Denise Policella is a business attorney. Rick Thompson. I always forget how to label you, Rick. You've got this
Don't label me, man. We're past that, aren't we?
Renaissance.
No pigeonholing.
Guy.
Metrosexual.
So on the program today, first I just wanted to, I should just get this out of the way because it's going to eat me if I don't.
It was a bad deal.
Before I get to that subject, let me tell you that coming up a little bit later, Eric Gunnels on the program today on the phone, probably about 12:15 or so. Eric's running for office. He's running for township trustee, I think, in, is it Genesee Township?
It's in Genesee
It's
County.
in Genesee County.
Genesee
right.
County. So he's the county trustee.
He's actually running for a local position in his local township up there. Thetford Township is where he's running.
Okay. So he's going to be on the show and talk about the campaign he's running, and I believe he's got a fundraiser going on and that kind of thing. Don't we also? Is there another fundraiser happening?
There certainly is. Up in Flint, there's a fundraiser for House Bill 5580.
Rep Callton.
Rep Callton's got a special fund that all of the proceeds are going to go into. That's this evening at a particular bar up in Flint. $200 a head is the suggested donation, and then if you're a business or organization, $500 for that.
So that's an exciting thing. We'll talk about that a little bit. Also, later on in the program, I believe Robert's going to call, talking about the website. And so what else? There was something else that I'm missing offhand. Why am I missing something?
Greg Palowski, perhaps?
No, that was news to me up front. I didn't know about that until today. We really should talk about this before the week rises and that we get on the show. I had no idea that Greg was going to be on the program.
He said that you told him to call. So.
No. I might have. Maybe I didn't. I just don't remember it because, gosh, a lot of stuff happens during the week. This week particularly. Let me just bust into this.
Yuck.
Because this, if you were watching our Facebook posts yesterday early in the day, I put up a big picture. I posted it everywhere. Probably like 30,000, 40,000 people saw this Facebook post, or at least were exposed to it. It was a picture of the Michigan Challenge Balloon Fest, and I mentioned earlier during the year that one of the goals of this show this year, because I just thought it was a novel thing, we're here to entertain people, do something spectacular. And I think a spectacular thing might be to bend the rules and limits, boundaries of technology and do a live broadcast, as small budget as we are, from inside of a balloon. I just thought that would be a cool thing. I've got a ballooning background. I mean, I'm not a pilot or anything, but I've been part of the chase crews, and I've been up in the balloons several times as a crew member just because I know the ground terrain. Anyway. So I thought it would be a cool thing. So, this event crept up on us, and I thought, we should.
Because it's usually a surprise every year.
No, I knew it was coming, but I just, it's easy to confuse with some of the other events happening.
And it's early. I mean, it seems like it's early in the summer, doesn't it?
It does.
Still. So, it creeps
But then
up
again,
on us.
so does the 4th of July. It seems like, it's May, and here comes, the red, white, and blue and the explosions in the sky. So anyway, we're running out of time. I just, before we get to the first break, I want to get this off my back because, it's eating a hole in my shorts. So we had talked to I made a call to the Howell Chamber to see if I could at least get out there to mingle with some of the balloon people to see if we could arrange to do this live broadcast, not necessarily coordinated with the event. I really was eyeing on putting somebody out on top of that former mountain of trash called the Southland Park System or something over there, the New Hudson, whatever it is over there. They have a huge park that they do sometimes frequently lift off on balloons at morning, at night when it's calm out. The problem with doing the live balloon thing during our show is that it tends to be a little bit windier around noon. So it's much harder to find a real calm day to do it during midday. They have a hard enough time doing it in the morning and at night. Anyway. So, I pulled up some music. Do we have the music for this? Because I think there's got to be. There we go. So, I thought doing the whole thing with the ballooning thing would be fun. And so we called up and I talked to the Howell Chamber. And they said, well, we'll leave a message with somebody. Maybe somebody will call you back. And so, I really didn't put much stock and faith in the idea that anybody would call me back. But actually, somebody did.
Hi, Steve. It's Michelle Token at the Michigan Challenge Balloon Fest. I understand from my office that you are trying to schedule a media flight. Give me a call back, and I can arrange that for you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Liar. That's all I got to say. You're a liar.
Liar, pants on fire.
Why can't you be truthful?
You can't handle the truth.
That's why you can't be truthful, because you don't want to tell people that you don't like our political affiliation. That's what the deal is. Let me just tell you.
I told you Livingston County was like Kentucky. I wasn't kidding.
Well, I don't want to. I grew
and I
up in
belong
Livingston.
to the Howell Chamber. I wish I would have known.
Oh, they denied.
earlier.
They said you do not belong to the Howell Chamber. That's what when I called them. They said you were not a member of the chamber.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I told them. I said. Well, you know what?
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm dead serious. They told me that she's. Well, whoever that is, they're not a member of the chamber. And I said, well, it's funny because her business is right there in Howell.
This is funny because they've been like a gnat at me for 2 years to join the chamber, and I finally joined last year. And not only did they spell my name wrong,
right?
They got my email address wrong, and I had to call them about it. And I got this big apology over the email. I've been a member of the Howell Chamber for about 6 to 8 months now.
Well, call up and ask, impromptu call up. Hey, who's Denise Policella?
Who said I wasn't a member of the chamber? Because
whoever answered the phone at the chamber.
That is a refund waiting to happen. See, and this is why I didn't want to join in the first place.
So, just
useless organization, useless.
It's a bunch of cat.
Pretty effective kicking us out yesterday. So
look, it's a bunch of cackling women up there. And we know about the cackling women.
I don't listen to women yelling. I tell them to shut up.
That's what we say about that.
I don't take no orders from no woman.
That's for damn sure. No, I'm just kidding. Look, we like you, Michelle. We like you, Howell Chamber. But good Lord, they invited us all the way out there. I'll play it again for you. I'll just play it again.
Hi, Steve. It's Michelle Token at the Michigan Challenge Balloon Fest. I understand from my office that you are trying to schedule a media flight. Give me a call back, and I can arrange that for you.
Well, why don't you go into the details of what happened?
What?
Why don't you go into the details of what happened when you got there then?
Well, we got there, and so we started to set it all up. They told us where to go. She was really receptive. She was really after the media attention on this. Oh, you guys are from Detroit? You're going to do a live broadcast from a balloon? You're going to do streaming? We're all for it, she said. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. So I get all the way out there, and we're dragging up the stuff. Now, mind you, I forgot to tell Bob. I forgot to tell Bob not to wear the pot gear.
It shouldn't matter.
It should not.
It doesn't.
That's the point. It should
but
not matter.
Bob had his Vote Green shirt on. And so I think that caught somebody's eye. And so at the point in time in which she goes, do you guys have a business card or something? And I'm like, well, I didn't bring a business card with me because, frankly, I'm out of them. I've run out. But, I do have, some credentials. I'll give those to you. So I gave her my press pass and I gave her my station credentials. And she goes, okay, well, we'll get you guys credentialed and, we'll get you all set. So I'm standing there talking with Paul. We're going to run into the break real quick. I'm talking with Paul, and Paul tells me, we're talking about how we're going to do this and what the camera angles can be and the technology involved. And we're having a good yak. Busy setting up some more. And then Paul disappears for a minute. A few minutes later, Paul comes back with Michelle and the good old boys in blue from the city of Howell.
Uniformed police officer.
And you're standing over.
It's really too bad I wasn't there because I literally know all of them.
Well, they said, you know what? She just had a big, LD excuse to tell me why we, she said, because right before she went off to credentialist, I said, well, she says, normally we have people fill out this paperwork and stuff for credentialing. And I said, I'll be glad to fill it out for you. I'm not trying to skip any processes. I really didn't think you were going to, do this. So she marches off and she comes back with the police and says, we don't have the time to credential you. And, I don't know if we're going to be able to make this happen for you today. Those are quote unquote. I don't know if we're going to be. Look, I didn't ask you to make this happen for me. You asked me to make this happen for you.
Yeah.
And then even when we asked to come back the following day, we were still rejected.
So look, it gets worse. It gets worse. And I just hope we don't run into the break, because after the break, I'm going to read you what I wrote to the Livingston County Press and Argus afterwards. I wrote a nice little piece back to them because you don't filter the news. You don't. You go right ahead.
I'll just read it. I'm just curious.
Well, I'll read it to you after.
Did you send it to Chris? Oh, Lisa.
Yeah. Well, she's the one that wrote the fluff piece on the front page, yesterday about.
She's.
Yeah, it's they're promoting. Anyway, so my point is this:
Chris
it gets worse. It gets worse. I'm leaving. We're getting ready to go, and I asked him. I said, look. We can't park in the VIP parking area because we don't have the VIP passes anymore. You didn't give us the credentials. Where can we park? Because we want to come back and be a part of the pilots briefing, because I really wanted to mingle with the pilots to get one to do this show. Oh boy. Details on that. Stick around next after the break. Find out what happened with the Balloon Fest in Howell. It's a doozy.
Got something to say?
Call now toll free. 855-MMM Radio. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
If you or someone you know received a traffic ticket, has been charged with a misdemeanor, drinking and driving, criminal offense, or has had their driver's license taken away, they need an attorney. They need attorney Glenn McCandless. He's helped hundreds of people solve their legal problems over the past 16 years.
My law firm is dedicated to providing quality legal services at affordable rates.
Call us at 586-755-2900. Again, that's 586-755-2900. Call now.
The Committee for a Safer Michigan is collecting signatures to put repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults on the November ballot, and we need your help. Outlawing marijuana has not reduced its availability, made society safe, nor reduced access for minors. Marijuana prohibition has wasted limited tax dollars, put otherwise law-abiding citizens in handcuffs, eroded the public's relationship with law enforcement, and denied relief to seriously ill, injured, and dying citizens that were supposed to be protected by the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. The Committee for a Safer Michigan is working to legalize marijuana for adults, and we need your help to put it on the ballot. Go to repealtoday.org to find out more about this historic effort. That's repealtoday.org to learn more, or call 269-548-8422 to end prohibition and sign the petition. Ending marijuana prohibition will reduce access by minors, allow law enforcement to focus on violent crime, reduce gang activity and organized crime, and create jobs by allowing a new Michigan hemp industry. Paid for with regulated funds by the Committee for a Safer Michigan, 2930 East Jefferson Avenue, Detroit, Michigan, 48207.
The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069.
I'm at a payphone trying to call home all of my change.
Okay, welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. We have in the studio in just a bit, we're supposed to have Greg Palowski, but he's not going to be here. Is that what you're telling me? Oh, so, you don't have headphones.
There was no arrangement for Greg, so I gave him the call-in number. He may call him. But Eric Gunnels, we're still expecting any moment.
I think I did say something to Greg online. I think I mentioned because he said something about. I didn't know he was going to be in town though. I didn't know he was going to be in the studio.
Yep,
That's interesting.
For a couple weeks. Yep.
As for this bit with the crazy, Howell Chamber, and the Balloon Fest, I told you that part of the state of the goals of the show was to do this live broadcast of this balloon thing. And so Friday morning, first thing I called the Howell Area Chamber, and I played for you Michelle's message back after she got my message about wanting to do this live broadcast. And so what happened was she asked me for the business card. I told her I didn't bring one, so I gave her my press credentials and the station and stuff, and told her I'd fill out any paperwork. She said would be necessary. And she said, let's go back and get your credentials. We'll get you guys going. So we're talking with Paul and stuff. And then, the police come back with her. And they tell us, she says, we don't have the time to credential you. Normally we make you do this in advance. As if I had come at the last minute asking her to do this. Mm-hmm. And then, so I can't confirm who you are and all this stuff. And I said, look, it'll just take a simple call to the station. Well, we're really busy right now. Tell you what, if it's too much trouble right now, can't we just have somebody set this up for tomorrow? Because we're doing our show tomorrow. That was Saturday. That's today. Today's show was. And we're really. What we'll do is we'll get you on the mailing list for next year, and we'll set this up for next year. Mm-hmm. She had no intention of doing that, none whatsoever. You're a liar, Michelle. Token. You are a liar.
I'm wondering really what it was that she thought you were gonna broadcast. I mean, what wouldn't have been objectionable?
Look, I had no intention of doing anything show related there, anyways. I was simply there to find a pilot, and if they wanted to let us do some broadcasting from a balloon, I thought that was a novel thing. Yeah. That was the goal of the show.
In fact, when we spoke to the gentleman earlier, he actually said, we're going to put you up in 2 separate balloons. Not only was it not an inconvenience, he was incredibly proud that they were going to be able to get us hooked up.
I'm just wondering, from the media point of view, they never asked, well, what station are you with? What show are you with? Nothing.
Well, that's the other thing.
It didn't matter
people do have the right to vet out whoever's coming. They have the right to credential you or not credential.
But they didn't bother. Because so clearly they didn't care until they knew it was marijuana related.
It was important enough to get us out there without worrying about credentials up front. Just the fact that we were a Detroit station and doing, we're coming out to their little small town community to do this.
That's shameful.
It is shameful.
I'm so embarrassed.
She was so whorish about the the promotion of this.
Oh, she'll hear from me.
But
and my
then did not want to let us onto the property, escort us. Now, let me tell you how it gets worse.
I have to ask you, Steve.
Okay.
Why were the police with her? I mean,
what was the purpose of the police?
Yeah,
Well,
what is the purpose?
Well, I knew right away when she walked around the corner with Paul and a Howell police officer what the deal was here. I just knew what was going on.
Who was it?
Which Howell police officer?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know those guys.
Curious,
I have no
I
idea.
Elderly guy with the gray hair.
All I saw was a man in blue.
Oh, I know who it is.
Oh, you saw? Okay, I did see the guy with the blue. He did have
JJ.
gray hair. So, I didn't pick a fight with the police. I wasn't there to. My fight was not with the police, but they were there. They were going to do and whatever. So, and I also, we represent the radio station when we're there.
So we have the ability to
we were
act
kind and we
professional.
were courteous and we were professional
right.
and we did as they asked. We just left the premises. But on our way out, well, we're trying to figure out where we can go to park so we can come back to be the pilot's briefing. I asked the guy. I asked Paul. I said, "Where can we park?" He says, "You're going to have to park off premises, and walk back if you want to go to the pilot's briefing." So.
Who's Paul again? I'm sorry.
Paul is Michelle's assistant.
Okay,
She's the one.
got it.
He's the one that works with the pilots and sets up the broadcast stuff. Apparently,
got it.
He says he's been. When I talked to him on the phone, he said he'd been a part of the ballooning thing for a while, but I didn't see him as a part of the chamber. He might just be connected with the ballooning thing. In any event, here's how it gets worse. So as we're leaving, I asked him where to go. He told us to walk back. We did. I was in the pilot's briefing early to mingle with the pilots to find somebody to hire to do the show from, and I was talking to a pilot when Paul approached me right away. It wasn't talking to the pilot for about 5 minutes. Paul approaches me and angrily asks me, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Excuse me?" He says, "We told you couldn't be here." And I said, "No, you didn't. You just simply told me you were going to get press credentials. I've been to the pilot's briefing 10 years." Well, you got to have a press credential now to be in here. We had to button this up a little bit because it was getting out of hand, and so you can't be in here without a press credential.
Surrounded by people without.
You got to get close to the mic, Rick.
Were you?
Surrounded by people without
Yeah,
credentials.
I can't. I've never tried, so I can't speak to that. But you do.
So
there's no check mark. You just walk right in.
I've never been asked for a press credential before to be in as a part of that pilot's briefing. And here's what they did. They walked right around the corner, and what they did was they tugged on Bob's shirt. And he was motioning about Bob's shirt because it said "Vote Green" on it. Yeah, here looks like to him. Get him out of here. And so the policeman walked over and stood next to him while he stood there and said, "Look, you guys got to go. I'm gonna have to escort you out of the building. You guys can't be in here." And so I just again, I didn't want to pick a fight with the police, and because he started getting really ugly with me, and I didn't give him any reason to be ugly with me. In fact, if anybody has a reason to be ugly, it would have been me. So I was just kind, and I said, I don't want to pick a fight with you here. If you want us to leave, I'll do as you asked. I'll gladly comply and leave. I said, but I'll have you know, I said, we were asked to come here by Michelle. She asked us to come here. I didn't come here asking you to do us any favors. You guys asked us here. And he's like, well, I don't know. If you got any grievances to file, you'll have to file them with him. And he motioned behind me. That's where the policeman was standing. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'll file my grievances with the chamber, with the Howell chamber. That's who I'll file my grievances with. So, here's where it got, he had argued that, with this thing about the, nobody can be in there without a permit. And I just wanted to say to you guys, shame on you. Shame on you, Michelle Token, for misrepresenting the chamber. For inviting us out to promote your event free of charge and then turning us away because you didn't like our political stripes. Right. Shame on you for being an outright liar, for burdening us with the expense of this invite and then shutting us out without letting us have what we came for. And then shame on you for vetting us after your invite. Greedy for the exposure, but not wanting the association. But most of all, shame on you for turning away one of your own. One who grew up here, one who learned his career here, one who volunteered here for your cause. Shame on you for making me feel like a black man at a restaurant in the South in the 50s, because that's what you made me feel like. You made me feel like scum for being who I am. And I won't put up with that. So shame on you people. Absolutely. Because we'll demonstrate to you and other people that we have a following and a cause, and we weren't here to disturb your event anyways. We were simply here to add to it like everybody else. So that's all I got to say about that. Eric Gunnels should have called by now. We should be getting Eric on the phone. Do you have Eric's number?
I just texted him too.
Okay, good, because he should have been on the meter by now. I'm really surprised that we're not. Incidentally, we're giving away. That's the thing that, remember, I said, what's slipping my mind? Cedar Point tickets.
Ta-da!
We got Cedar Point tickets to give away. We're going to the park on July 14th. We're going to do a live broadcast from there.
Do they know who we are?
I don't
do
think they
know
care.
That we're dangerous potheads?
They're gonna do an interview with us right there at the. We're dangerous potheads. Give
Dangerous
me a break.
pothead. Well,
We're simply not.
Clearly, you're
We are a
dangerous, or you
political
wouldn't have needed
discussion
the
program.
police
Danger,
escort.
Will Robinson, danger.
I mean, clearly you wouldn't have needed the police escort.
Yeah. Well, Cedar Point has their own police, but I don't think police. I don't think Cedar Point's. Look, Cedar Point's after the promotion, just like the Howell Balloon Fest was.
I'm still speechless. I don't know what to say, and I'm not really sure. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do about it. I've been going to Balloon Fest for 10 years. I'm just ashamed that Howell treated you and us that way.
It wasn't me.
Ashamed.
It wasn't personal. This was not personal. This was broader
that's what
than
I mean
that.
by us.
And
Us, the
anybody in the
community.
community.
You the host, us, the community, the radio station,
Here's what I said. I cannot believe this town, once mired with the KKK label for its special relationship with Kahaka, its spatial relationship with Kahaka, and the Robert Miles farm, if you know anything about that, would still participate in such political discrimination and shooing. We weren't there to talk about our usual topic. We were there to broadcast from a balloon. Our credentials were lynched. We were banished. What have we come to? I'm not sure, but greedy, sloppy, and indignant is no way to treat the press, even if you don't like them. It's also no way to represent a community I don't think reflects this aberrant behavior.
It is a poor reflection on Howell.
Well, this event used to be for the people, and now it's like the big box stores, the tail's wagging the proverbial dog here. Mm-hmm. Really? I mean, this is no longer an event designed to just entertain. This is an event designed to extract the community of as much cash as it can possibly get.
With as little waves made as possible, right?
I'm sorry, but it is. It's the truth. I mean, I don't want to, step on the Balloon Fest any more than is necessary, because I've always been an advocate and a proponent of this event. And I still am.
And I don't think the pilots really should be included in the.
No, the pilots are friendly guys.
They really are.
They are my friends.
The Chamber of Commerce.
It really is about the chamber. I agree with you.
The individual people here that made the decision, the individual people that decided what course of action based on what facts. And that did not vet us before we got there.
Should be ashamed of yourself.
Those are the ones that are culpable and responsible for this. And when that letter is published in the Argus Press.
Well, I don't know if it will be. I mean, I wrote a letter to the Livingston.
I'll be writing.
They should feel appropriately wronged.
The ex-chamber member attorney. I've been a resident of Howell for almost 12 years now.
I grew up as a teenager there. I mean,
and this is a community that has a very serious heroin problem.
Well, it's been coming for a while now. We got some phone calls. And I hope somebody's answering those calls.
And really, even the prosecutor, who has been very vehemently against marijuana and aggressively prosecuting marijuana, has even said, if you have your medical marijuana card and you're in possession of a reasonable amount of marijuana, we're not going to prosecute you for possession. I mean, they're coming around gradually, but you get stopped in Livingston County right now, it's very aggressive still, but there's no reason not to allow the conversation, and frankly, that's reprehensible. Absolutely reprehensible suppression of free speech.
Well, look, what gets me is that my credentials were good enough for Senator Jones in his Judicial Committee hearings. Why aren't they good enough for you, Michelle Token? Why aren't they good enough for you, Howell Area Chamber of Commerce?
It's flipping Kentucky. It's an uphill battle there.
It really is. It's Mississippi all over.
If I was Michelle Token, I would be hiding my head in the sand this morning.
Yep. Well, think about this, though. You've got a community here where the people in charge are not making the decisions. The Chamber of Commerce, unelected people, right? These
very
folks,
unelected.
These folks are just appointed, or they get put in place by whatever procedure that they have.
Mm-hmm.
They're not accountable to anybody. They don't have to pay any dues to the people that elected them. So they can make any decision they want and feel like they can walk away with it with a big smile on their face.
I call it the little people with the big badge syndrome.
Yeah, well, and that's it. And they should not have power over whether or not the city discriminates against us. And they spoke for the entire city of Howell at that point.
The Facebook picture that I posted, I found a picture of Michelle Token talking to TV cameras in front of the Balloon Crew crowd. Mm-hmm. And she's got a big camera in her face, and she's got her hair's all messed up. It's not a flattering picture. And I right at the top, I said, Michelle Token, liar, next to it. And underneath, this is all over Facebook now. Underneath it said, full of hot air, question mark, in quotation marks, full of hot air. And underneath it says, I'll bet that's not air. Because I'll bet it's not.
Looks like we got Nick Panacidi here, who's going to be hosting that event, that fundraiser we talked about
Oh,
this
yeah.
evening.
I told Nick on Facebook earlier to call the show and promote this event because Rep. Callton's attached. We want to help Rep. Callton. He's trying to raise some money, raise some political action fund money.
Yeah, speaking of
Nick's
politics.
one of the hosts of that tonight. We can
Welcome to the program, Nick. Hello, can we get Nick on? There we go.
Hey, Nick.
How are you?
Hey, thanks for coming on. You reminded me this morning and brought my attention to the idea that there was a fundraiser happening up in Flint.
Yes, there is. It's at Olio's Restaurant on Elms Road.
Olio's Restaurant on Elms Road?
Elms Road. ELMS.
Elms Road.
If they go to my Facebook page, Michigan Safe Transfer, or Michigan Wellness, or Nick Panacidi, they can get directions there fairly easy. Yeah, we're super excited. I can't tell you how excited we are for a chance for Flint to come together, to promote this bill. Even with all of this diversity and all of the safe transfer models, it shows that we have some cohesiveness and some a viable business.
Well, and we'd like to codify that legislatively, and Rep would help to accomplish that, I believe, to some degree.
There's no doubt about that. It's great having someone with on the inside that feels us.
For sure.
Well, Nick, and Flint is a city that's pretty successful with their dispensaries as it is existent. So you folks are taking up an issue that you might otherwise not have to even worry about. So congratulations for thinking about something larger than yourself. Who else is involved in the organization up there in Flint to bringing this project to fruition?
Oh, there's everybody that's Jeremy Rapinski has supported this. He's a
Genesee County
founder,
Compassion
one
Club.
of the co-founders of the Genesee County Compassion Club. Of course, everyone knows, and Ken Byer, who's with MTA Testing. You kind of got me at a loss for words here, but there's tons of people coming out, and you can never have too many. That's the thing, is that I don't want to fool anybody. It's about the money that surrounds these issues that gets heard, and the more money we can throw at this to get our points of view heard is what we're trying to do here.
Well, the medical marijuana community needs to perform and behave just like every other aspect of our community in Michigan here. And everybody that wants something done in Lansing holds fundraisers for their particular cause. So we are doing exactly what everyone else does when they want to raise an issue. And this is something that's going to be repeated across the state. I know Flint's just the very first of a series of fundraisers for the same effort, I'm sure.
Right on. We're very fortunate to have the liberal views that we do here. We're a constant reminder when we hear of the terrible things that go on around us, how fortunate we are here. And, I feel an obligation to, bring some of this to light and make a move to bring this dispensary bill that seems to make sense to me. There's a couple things, of course, that in every bill that some people are not going to like.
Nothing's
but,
perfect.
it's something for us to work with. I believe the alternative bill is the opposite end of the world.
5681's horrible, so
Yes.
5580 is the way to go for sure, Nick.
Yes.
Very well, Nick. Thanks for calling. Tell us once again where the fundraiser is, and isn't it like a couple $300 a plate, depending on how many people you bring?
Yeah, it's $200 a person, $300 for a couple. And we're asking if you're a business representative that maybe you could bring more. We'd like to see $500 per representative for a business representative.
Denise brought that in cash tonight.
And, the thing is, bring your money, but don't forget to bring your insights. Everybody will be heard. That's what we're concentrating on, is a small forum where everybody gets the chance to be heard. It's going to be a nice event.
And what time does it start, please?
It's 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
And Nick, what's that address so people can throw it in their GPS?
I believe it's 1072.
It is 1072. I remember looking it up.
1072 Elms Road, the city of
Give me
Flint,
one
Michigan.
second. I do have a flyer here with me.
We got it for you already. It's 1072, brother.
You're right.
It is. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling, Nick. We appreciate you.
Anytime, Steve. I really appreciate the plug, and it's great, man. It's a good thing, and I know you recognize that.
It was my pleasure. So thanks so much for calling.
Tell Jane we said hi.
Oh, geez, off the line already. Greg Palowski, welcome to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Thanks for coming on, Greg.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, Rick.
How are you?
Hey, Denise.
Hello.
Greg is currently living in New Hampshire, but he's a Michigan native. He can give us some insights into things going on the East Coast.
Yeah, the reason why I was calling was actually I wanted to talk about things that are going on in New Hampshire, but also here in Michigan as well. But yeah, in New Hampshire, the governor over the last 11 months, I've kind of left Michigan to head over to New Hampshire to be closer to a girlfriend and also to reevaluate some things and to actually try to find myself. And I found myself being a cannabis reform activist in New Hampshire. I worked on about 5 different bills: industrial hemp deregulation, tax and regulating, the medical marijuana bill. And right now, Governor Lynch has vetoed the bill about 2 days ago, and it is a very, very good bill. It was produced mainly by Republicans, libertarian-minded Republicans.
You might be stealing Ryan's thunder. I think you might have been covering that during the news a little bit later. I don't know.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I was just mentioning that Ryan, our intern, does the cannabis news here on the show, and I think that might have been part of his content. Look, Greg, can you hang on for a second? We're getting ready to go to break. Do you have something more to add? Yes? No? Oh, see, he's put him on hold. I didn't tell you to put him on hold. I'm trying to talk to the man. Good Lord. We'll be right back on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
More of your calls next. You gotta bend over or no? Yeah, you gotta. Okay. Steve and Rick will be right back after this. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville.
If you or someone you know received a traffic ticket, has been charged with a misdemeanor, drinking and driving, criminal offense, or has had their driver's license taken away, they need an attorney. They need attorney Glenn McCandless. He's helped hundreds of people solve their legal problems over the past 16 years.
My law firm is dedicated to providing quality legal services at affordable rates.
Call us at 586-755-2900. Again, that's 586-755-2900. Call now.
Damn tootin', about 23 minutes before 1 o'clock, 23 minutes left in the program. It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. You'll find us here every Saturday from noon until 1 o'clock. You'll find us also on RadioWeedShow.com when we got our ducks in a row. You can find us there today, but the audio's kind of goofy.
But
also,
you won't find us in Howell.
You won't find us.
Not for a long time.
You won't
Good
find us in
God.
Howell, even though they invited us out. You know,
You're going to play it again.
Callton at the Michigan Challenge Balloon Fest. I understand from my office that you are trying to schedule a media flight. Give me a call back and I can arrange that.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
You are a lying lady. Liar, liar, liar.
Discrimination
All
is
women are
ugly.
evil, lying bitches.
Yeah, no, that's
That's not nice to play with Denise in the room.
no. We don't take orders from women, so I'm just kidding. I'm never gonna. Every time we got, I had to get that.
I don't take no orders from no woman. I don't listen to women yelling. I tell them to shut up.
I just love those drops. They're funny. That guy's the biggest redneck I've ever seen.
What a loser.
He's like a Polish redneck guy. It's kind of a crossbreed. It's really strange. Greg Palowski, did you have something else to add that you wanted to talk to us about?
I wanted to add some comments regarding Eric Gunnels. I mean, I think it's a great thing that actually the community is looking to increase its political foothold in the state. I commend Eric, and I commend a lot of people that, since I've been back for the past 2 weeks, I've been listening to more and more people tell me that they've been running for delegates in the Republican convention, and I think the community definitely needs to get involved in the political arena, and creating a slate for the governorship in 2014, I believe, is a huge, huge part of that, and I'd really, really love to ask the community to actually run as a political official, to really make some changes and to create at least a minority of our particular community members in the House and in the Senate and stuff like that. So I just want to recommend everybody to support Eric in Flint, and I think what he's doing is absolutely fantastic.
Look, Eric Gunnels knows his shtick. He's been knee-deep in this since we started. And knows everything really well, is very familiar with his local community, very active in his local community, and certainly deserving of this position.
Eric's also a victim of the drug war, unfortunately.
And his parents, yeah.
Yes, that's
personally,
a sad
very
fact.
much. And, I completely agree. It's one of those, if you can't beat them, join them things. I mean, I think it's one thing to have a grassroots movement. It's one thing to have a lot of voting and to talk to the legislature. It's another thing to jump right in and get representatives on the ground, and I think it's fantastic. And a lot of the fights that we've just been discussing today are very, very localized. So if you can get people at the municipal level, at the township level, and township boards, township trustees, city members, city commissions, you're winning quite a large battle just at that point, because a lot of the decisions, I think, that are going to be made upcoming, regardless of what happens, formally at the state level, are going to be local decisions.
Remember, Denise, how you were saying that these people out at the Balloon Fest, a lot of these people out in the county are favorable to all of this stuff anyways. Why would they be looking at us down their nose?
They really are. I mean, Livingston County generally is not, the people in Livingston County, and this passed by 62% in Livingston County, the 2008 Act did. This is not a community that doesn't grow marijuana and doesn't use marijuana. This goes way back in Livingston County.
It goes deep too. And here's the thing: those, with as many people and as popular as that subject is out there, one person in one organization was able to stomp out what they thought was a threat, what clearly was not.
And that's what happens. One person really can make a difference. So people out there listening who think that this is never going to change because they can't make a difference, listen up. You absolutely can.
Yeah, one thing when I was out in New Hampshire that I really enjoyed was that it was a very libertarian-minded community, and a lot of people want to get invested into the part of self-governance. And New Hampshire has 400 representatives, one representative for every 3,000 people, and they take their politicking very seriously. They don't get paid; they only get about $100 a year. It's only a part-time legislature, but they are a part of the people. And that's one thing that I would love for Michigan to be able to accomplish as well. I would have given anything for 20 medical marijuana activists from Michigan over to New Hampshire. It would have been a beautiful sight to see what we can achieve over there, just what we achieved over here in Michigan. However, there is one thing that New Hampshire does have a foothold a little bit ahead of Michigan, which is the legislative analysis or the legislative support, because they do have people who are in the local municipalities and towns, and also then the House of Representatives, and very shortly it will be the Senate as well, with hopefully 3 members that are cannabis reform activist-minded. So, it can happen, and I will want to strongly encourage everybody who's listening and everybody who lives in the state to, we're not potheads. We're very vocal. We're very crystal clear in our methodology and our message, and I really want people to understand what cannabis reform can do when it comes from one of us who is either not just an activist, but a part-time warrior that could actually make a change in the House or a Senate race, or even a local city council member race. We can make a huge difference, and that's all I'm trying to say.
Look, Greg, thanks for calling today. Do you know that I think Eric Gunnels does have a fundraiser himself going on? That's what I think he was calling it.
He had one on Monday. I know that for sure because I missed it.
Oh, no.
I know I had my kids. What can I do? Those pesky children. You met them. They exist. It's not just an excuse I throw out there.
As we met up with Denise at the Balloon Fest yesterday, and as she was walking away, Bob goes, "I told you she had kids."
Yeah, I had proof with me. I rented 2 kids for the evening, just in case I ran into Steve and Rick.
Stephen, guys, I want to say thank you very much for letting me come on the show. And like I said, support Eric Gunnels and support 5580 with Callton. It's a beautiful bill.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
All right, thank you, sir.
Appreciate the phone call. Ryan, are you ready for the cannabis news for the program today? You got a second? You ready to do that or no?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay, so we'll find the theme music while you're getting ready here. We got some theme music for the cannabis news. I hope they didn't take it out. I don't think they did. Did they? They might have. Who knows? Well, we get the contest. I think they did. Oh, they took out the music for the... Good Lord. What's this coming to? He's playing something. Oh, he's playing something. He found it. He found some music. Thanks. Appreciate that, Kevin. Show producer Kevin. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, let's see what we got here. By now, hundreds of people have seen the DEA Chief Administrator, Michelle Leonhardt, was grilled by a congressional committee about her stance on marijuana policy. She eluded anything controversial. However, she may have slipped up when she said medical marijuana is between patients and doctors. In Colorado, Strategic Health Resources, LLC, is being retained by cannabis scientists for government-related to identify opportunities and collaborate with researchers. In New York, Governor Cuomo's marijuana decriminalization bill failed. This does not mean the issue is dead or up in smoke, as you might say. The Legal Aid Society has filed a complaint asking the court to make it clear to cops not to arrest people with less than 25 grams. It's only a ticket. As you may have heard, marijuana use among teens has been on the rise. It's become more popular than smoking cigarettes in recent years, but a provocative study shows that legalization of medical marijuana does not increase the chance that teens will abuse drugs of any kind.
Well, there you go. You know, the kids know that the pot's not dangerous. They know. They know from either their own experience or from, you know, their friends that this is not something that they're going to end up in the hospital with.
Right. Well, I mean, let's be clear. You're not gonna encourage kids to smoke marijuana and get in a car.
Absolutely not. And I would never advocate for that under any conditions. That's a personal choice, and that's something you should make as a well-informed decision on your own.
But
and it's still about adults, though. If you're not 18, you're not supposed to smoke cigarettes. You're not allowed to drink till you're 21. You know, it's responsibility, and parents need to be parents and watch what their kids are doing.
But I think we can all recognize that it's a ridiculous argument to say kids are going to do it if we legalize it because they've been doing it forever.
Well, the point that I think the point that the news story makes is that kids are smoking cigarettes less because they find them dangerous, and smoking pot more because they think it's not.
And it's. You know, as far as the long-term health consequences of smoking marijuana, I'm sure hopefully we'll start seeing some studies on it. But I would bet my piddly little yearly salary right now that the tobacco industry is going to start doing some negative studies on marijuana and the negative long-term health consequences of marijuana, because look where this is going. The two industries that are suffering the most, three, alcohol, tobacco, and pharmacy, big pharmacy.
Well, the fourth biggest industry suffering, the government.
I was just going to say Taco Bell should shortly be coming out with its own independent study about the benefits of marijuana.
Are you loco? Coming after 3 a.m., man.
Actually, I just heard that Rob Dyrdek just started marketing 2 burritos that were created and are marketed specifically for the marijuana industry.
Is he open till after 4 a.m.?
He is.
No.
Burritos marketed
420.
420. Open till 4:20 a.m.
You know, we talked about alcohol and tobacco, but the one thing they can never change is the mortality statistics. They can't change the fact that people continue to die from tobacco and they don't continue to die from marijuana.
I'm just saying I would not be surprised to start seeing some studies funded by the tobacco industry about how awful marijuana is for you.
We did see the study that says that medical marijuana states have about a 5 to 6% decrease in alcohol sales after medical marijuana comes in. So those companies are scared too.
Brace for impact. They're going to start lobbying harder against us.
Yep.
So,
there was a study that I just read last week that said anybody that was to smoke 1 to 2 marijuana joints a week would have no increase in risk of lung cancer or any other type of cancer caused by smoking. Now, the study was based on 1 to 2 marijuana joints a week, not a daily...
Per hour?
Nope, just per week. They would be a couple a week. They didn't.
So it's unrealistic is what you're saying.
You know what we're really going to need those? We're going to need, your basic American Medical Association, peer-reviewed, double-blind, what's the journal called? I say ABA because that's my journal. The
AMA.
The AMA journals. We're going to need those kinds of studies published by doctors. But the hard thing right now is that even professors at medical schools are not being able to get a license or a grant from the DEA or the federal government to study marijuana,
which is where the K2 came from. Remember, that's what we talked about last week. That's where that stuff came from.
So that's a big problem that until we get the government funded quasi-independent studies of marijuana, all of this is going to be arguable by the other industries.
And that's why the DEA stopped anybody from doing these studies for so many years, because they know what that's going to say.
Well, they're stopping it now. I still think there are a couple federal lawsuits pending about this.
Incidentally, we're just for those of you who have the benefit of watching us in the studio, we've been passing around the Michelle Token video. Like a deck of cards in prison, we've been passing her around.
Liar,
so here we go.
liar,
We're going to the
liar,
break.
liar.
We'll be right back with more of the
You owe me
Medical
$3
Marijuana
for
Radio
parking.
Show.
More of your calls next. 818-423-2350. We'll be right back after this on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Well, this formula is specifically to grow cannabis.
That's Ray Kogo for Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Now, everybody knows that large buds and tight buds come from genetics, and then the amount of light you use. The other part is having the correct nutrients that the plant's going to use. Mine specifically to grow cannabis, so it's going to get everything that it needs.
Ray knows what you may not. Those nutrient companies you can get in most grow shops are not cannabis specific. That means they take the stuff out of the bloom that your plant needs in bloom. You can get Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients too. It's just 2 1-gallon jugs that make over 600 gallons of nutrients, all for less than $100. See the difference for yourself.
More trichomes, bigger buds, faster growth, and for less money.
Go to CANNABISformula.com or call Ray Direct at 517-375-8998. That's 517-375-8998. Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
The Committee for a Safer Michigan is collecting signatures to put repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults on the November ballot, and we need your help. Outlawing marijuana has not reduced its availability, made society safe, nor reduced access for minors. Marijuana prohibition has wasted limited tax dollars, put otherwise law-abiding citizens in handcuffs, eroded the public's relationship with law enforcement, and denied relief to seriously ill, injured, and dying citizens that were supposed to be protected by the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. The Committee for a Safer Michigan is working to legalize marijuana for adults, and we need your help to put it on the ballot. Go to repealtoday.org to find out more about this historic effort. That's repealtoday.org to learn more, or call 269-548-8422 to end prohibition and sign the petition. Ending marijuana prohibition will reduce access by minors, allow law enforcement to focus on violent crime, reduce gang activity and organized crime, and create jobs by allowing a new Michigan hemp industry. Paid for with regulated funds by the Committee for a Safer Michigan, 2930 East Jefferson Avenue, Detroit, Michigan, 48207.
Red wine. The Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Let's go to the beach, let's go get a wave. They say what they gonna say. Have a drink, clink, found a Bud Light. Bad bitches like me, it's hard to come by. The Patron, let's go get it down. The sound, yes, I'm in the zone. Is it 2, 3? Leave a good tip.
Welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. It is just before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Stay tuned for the Homegrown report coming up your way in just a few minutes with Mike and Sip and crew. Denise, where are you going? Are you out there? Are you in here? If we're half in, half out? There you go. Look at that.
I don't get that kind of results with women.
We were talking, but when we went to break, we were talking about this business with I wanted to say something. Oh, you know what I was going to say about studies. You know what the trouble is with studies? You got to study them. That's, you can twist those numbers any way you want a lot of times. This is why they do studies, and this is why large research firms like to pay for studies, because they tend to back what your position is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can make almost any study back almost any.
Which is absolutely true.
It makes them indisputable when you have all of that infrastructure put in there and all that effort and work. Yeah.
But it's called JAMA, by the way, Journal of American Medical Association.
Yes,
I just remembered it. It's called the JAMA.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
See, that's what
we don't want to confuse that with Java. Robert Steckroth, our the website guy / producer / man of all hats.
Man of all shirts.
He works for Peanuts. Bobby, welcome to the program, Robert. Hey, thanks for coming on. Did you have anything to say about the amazing stuff yesterday? And incidentally, while Robert's on the phone, if you want to call to win Cedar Point tickets, you want to play the contest, we got about 7 minutes left in the program. Call now, 248-848-1310. 248-848-1310 if you want to win tickets to come with me and Bob and Denise and Rick and Ryan and the crew down to Cedar Point
right
on
now.
July 14th. You cannot win. You've already got a ticket.
July 14th. Okay.
July 14th. If you want to buy tickets, you can buy them on the front page of RadioWeedShow.com.
Let me tell you, those are a deal, Steve. You can't get tickets that cheap.
No, not to Cedar Point. You won't find them at a travel agent. You won't find them at your credit union anywhere else.
Plus, you get us.
Robert, where did you have anything to add about what happened yesterday? Was there anything notable to you? Were you angry about this?
That man
did this
touched
upset
you. That man touched you.
Robert's not even a medical marijuana guy. He just works for the show.
Wait, who touched Robert, by the way?
Paul.
You do know that's battery. He wasn't a police officer,
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
That's battery.
That does bug me because I feel like I was ostracized for something I really, don't do or, have a part in as an employment only. But really what bugs me is the fact that I wasn't even told that I needed to leave before a police officer was escorting me out.
Right.
Like, the police officer not really keeping the order, more or less just a lackey for the little club they're having.
Right, because I'll bet you he was off duty and hired as an independent contractor.
But he was wearing the uniform.
No, they were. I had actually talked to a couple of them, and I asked if
were
it
on
was
duty?
part of yeah.
He had a gun and everything. And you know what? I had to ask, though, would you say his name was Paul? Before, after the police officer was escorting me out, I asked him, do I have to leave? Like, no one even told me what was going on, and I feel like, I'm a fugitive.
Well, here's what gets me, because you and I were there setting this up when they came back out and said, no, on second thought, we're not going to give you any credentials. In fact, you're going to have to leave the premises immediately. You're going to have to park someplace else and just go be a part of the crowd because you're not one of us.
You do know that the definition of battery, Bob, is somebody touching you without your permission, right?
Well, yeah, I understand all that. It's more or less the fact that if this gentleman wanted me to leave, he should have told me to my face.
He shouldn't have battered you, is what she's saying.
I'm just saying, there's,
Yep. He reached out and plucked that shirt like, this is why you're out of here.
Yeah, he was pointing it out to the cop. Oh, we don't like the likes of these guys around
not
here.
allowed to touch somebody without their permission. Yeah. That's just my point. That's. I'm getting madder by the minute about this.
And the
I really
VGIP T-shirt involved is so benign. It's so neutral. It's really not showy or ostentatious at all.
So, we got about 5 minutes left trying to give away Cedar Point tickets. We got 2 pairs left to give away before we go off on July 14th. If you think you know something about last week's show, 248-848-1310. But, somebody's got to do something to win them.
It's funny, too. I was looking around because I was there all day with my kids. There, you can say the N-word in Howell, nobody bats an eye. People wear tattoos.
That's disgusting.
It is. It is. I'm telling you about Livingston County, though. You look at people walking around. They've got a lot of tattoos that are not particularly for general.
Appalachia what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're very. There are a lot of prison tattoos.
On
there are a lot
arms,
of
naked women on your arms.
A lot of people wear a lot of interesting.
Look, when I make a bicep, I can make her pants drop. Look at that. See there?
People wear T-shirts that say really objectionable things.
I usually just
and that Vote Green shirt, it doesn't even have a pot leaf.
It's
on
not
it.
offensive in any way. In fact, I've been
not.
thinking, what does that mean? Vote for good energy policy.
Well, but there's a green party.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's green.
Well, I think
the
fact that there were roots underneath the Vote Green part, I don't know.
You know what? Nobody who's not really looking for that sees it. I mean, I've looked at that before going, is that really?
No, they recognize Steve Greene when someone there, obviously from your situation with Lyon Township or with any of the other things.
No, look, I've got roots with the local radio station there, and they work with those guys. They were on site. They know who I am. I'm sure when she went back to do the credentialing.
WHMI?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure when they went back to do the credentialing, somebody was, with the radio station or with somebody.
Do you know who that guy is?
Look, my name is, people know my name out there.
You do
sure.
understand that WHMI calls me on a regular basis for commentary on the marijuana. They
talk to me on a regular basis too. I just don't think the owners like me very well. I don't know why, because they used to be the station engineers when I worked there.
It's not an issue.
They're beautiful people, but I just don't think they like me.
Those citizens commanding the police force, the uniformed police officers who's on duty being told what to do by a Chamber of Commerce guy, and he follows like a lackey, that's ridiculous.
I lived in this town for 25 years. Like I'm polite, I'm kind to everybody. I'm walking out of there like a criminal, and I don't even know why.
Where do you live?
Howell.
In Howell.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Why do we never really? How did I not know that?
Well, he's in the country.
Have I not been listening this whole time? I haven't been listening.
Country mouse, city mouse.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
we're gonna banish you with Michelle. No, just kidding.
Yeah, so it was embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, Bobby.
Wow, I mean,
it's not an insult.
So I'm not. what if I started walking? I almost started walking the other way. Like what have I been tackled at that point? I don't even know what's happening. It was weird.
You should come into my office this week and we'll chat about this.
About
Seriously.
this whole battery issue. Because
Yeah.
Steve and I both witnessed it. It's no question.
Well, here's the thing that bugs me is that because I started to say this earlier and it got derailed, you weren't there when we were setting this equipment up and they weren't going to credential us and ordered us off the premises.
Rick wasn't there.
Rick wasn't.
Yeah, and I wasn't there,
And
obviously.
so when Rick and I and Bob were all inside the pilot's briefing, they didn't come after Rick without his credential to say, you got to leave. They came after me and Bob. They let Rick stay as long as he wanted.
Of course,
even though they were adamant and insistent upon the idea, and mind you, there were at least 100 other people in that room that did not have a media credential,
including children and things like that. It was certainly not a secure place.
They weren't asking for, there was no presence on the way in to make sure who you were before you got there. There were other entrances to the building that were completely
Completely
open.
discriminatory.
Michelle Token, you are a liar. Liar.
All women are evil, lying bitches.
Liar, pants on fire.
That's all I got to say to you, Michelle.
We can't
Okay, I object on the grounds that you're picking on her. Not all women are that stupid.
No, look, I'm not picking on Michelle for being a woman. I'm not picking on her for being ugly or fat
She's
because
got
she's both of
very-
those things. But I'm picking on her. I'm picking on her because she is a liar. That's all I got to say.
Very well said. Very well said.
So
I'm glad I'm not either one of those. Jeez. Don't
Join us
piss
again next
Steve
week
off.
when we will once again try and give away Cedar Point tickets. Thanks for joining us, Robert, on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show and RadioWeedShow.com are trademarks. Copyright 2011.